Alright guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going over my pull day and I'm currently 30 weeks post-show from my 2024 contest prep. And first movement today, we've got a single arm cuffed pullover. Reason why I do it single arm is when I was doing it dual arm, I kind of ran out of room to progress it as the load was just pulling me forward. So doing it single arm means less load, which means I'm not getting pulled forward. Basically meaning I'm more stable. When I'm doing this, what you'll notice is I'm not directly square on. I'm kind of turned into the working side. That allows you to lengthen your lat further because you're getting your arm a bit more across your body, keeping the palm up to keep the weight on the lat. And the big thing here is cueing down. It's very easy when you do this just to think back or like just get the weight from A to B. And I found that whereas I wasn't really connecting with my lat, so I then stripped the load back, made sure I'm actually using the target muscle. Because like after the set, see if you do a movement and you kind of have no sensation of you've trained that muscle effectively afterwards, and that's probably a sign your execution could be improved. So yeah, 2 sets here. I don't like kind of going too low in terms of reps here, just because again I'll struggle to kind of connect with that target muscle, and then we're moving over to bent over rows. So next up we have deficit barbell rows, and on this movement it's not the most load I've ever lifted during like a barbell row variation. However, it's the most stimulus I've ever got from it. What I mean by that is just because you're not lifting maybe as much load as you ever had on like a bent over row doesn't mean you're not progressing, doesn't mean it's not good quality stimulus. Like I've never done it with that level of control and accuracy, pausing in the stretch, so that itself's a form of progression. So it's easy to get caught up in terms of how much weight's on the bar, is it better than you've done before, but how's the quality of the work? Like, are you actually targeting the muscle effectively? Because I've never kind of came out of the sets and got as good a pump in my upper back as what I have after doing it as I am now. And that's obviously, you don't need a pump to build muscle, but like if you finish a movement, you don't feel it in that target muscle, like I said, that's kind of a problem. And when you're getting into position during a bent over row, something I feel like a lot of people struggle with, just treat it like a Romanian deadlift. So cue chest facing up at all times, push your hips back as much as you can until you're in your bent over position, and then just roll to your lower stomach. Cue and driving the elbows back to stop you using your biceps. Easy. So we weight progression there in 1 rep down. Something that can be very easy is, as you kind of keep doing your bent over rows, just like extending the set and allowing it to get sloppier and sloppier. So considering like I'm loading my lower back again tomorrow, walking lunges, I've got deadlifts later on in the week, like it's so easy just to ruin your lower back here and just keep extending the set. So it's a balancing act. Like you don't want to train like a fairy and not kind of take it all the way there, but at the end of the day you don't want your execution to deviate that much that you're put yourself in a compromised position and also not really stimulating the muscles effectively. So next up we've got the prime seated row. On this machine, the beauty of it is, if you can see the handles, they move. So like when you're doing like some row machines, the handles are in a fixed path. Here, it's basically called a trailing arm. What that allows you to do is basically dictate what grip you want throughout the set instead of being constrained into a fixed path by the machine. So it means it's a bit more flexible for every individual, meaning it suits people that are shorter, taller, etc., wider, narrower, which is the benefit of this machine. And when I'm performing this, I'm trying to bias my upper back, hence why I've got semi-pronated grip, hence why hips are forward on the seat. And my goal is to get as much movement in the shoulders and the upper back as possible, but making sure as I get into the stretch, I don't collapse my chest, because that doesn't lengthen things further, that just means the machine's moving further. So yeah, 2 sets here. And this is a movement I get quite kind of hyped up for, you could say, because it's kind of hard to perform on some lifts if you don't, and you should use that somewhat sparingly. Like if I go in cuffed pullover, get myself in a big hyped up state, think about fighting demons or whatever, same with the pull down, and every single movement, when you need it towards the end of the session or some movements that are more demanding, you're toast and you're going to be absolutely burst and need to deload, or not need to deload, but carry more fatigue than you want to. So yeah, 2 sets here, 1 in a lower rep range, 1 in a high rep range, which is pretty much what I do on all my movements. Easy. So you'll notice I'm doing like a 7 rep set here. I don't mind doing quite a low rep set, just because my ability to stay accurate is there. Whereas if someone's less experienced, they struggle to keep that load on that target muscle, working in a bit of a higher rep range would be ideal. And here, or any other like pull down, like a single arm pull down on the cable, really make sure your body's remaining still, palm remains up, so you're internally rotated at the shoulder, and cue elbow forward and down. So we don't want to finish when we're doing a pull down here. want to finish here. So the weight's going right through our forearm, because here is a lot of bicep. We don't want to finish the movement either by going here or finish by elbow to hip. Always do elbow to hip. So we're now moving on to arms, and I've got the preacher curl next. Good thing about this preacher curl is you're not fixed in this position here with parallel grip. You're a bit kind of wider, so you're in a bit more of a natural path to curling, you could say, which is what I like about it. And here what I'm focusing on is just keeping everything still apart from the elbow joint, so I'm not using any kind of shoulder or any other musculature to kind of move the weight. And what I think helps with that is out the stretch, cueing up, then like back, instead of just thinking pull or whatever, or just move the weight. So really initiating by driving that upper arm against the pad, and that then creates more stability. Whenever you can kind of brace against an object, a surface, do so. And here, I've got 2 sets and then a drop set after the second. Arms is something I'm really trying to bring up at the moment. It's a weak point for me, so a few things I'm doing to bring them up is hitting them frequently, just making sure the quality of work's really good, always sending the form clips back to my coach, and just doing that over time really. There's no shortcuts. Like even if you do everything absolutely perfect, part of it's time, which is obviously rubbish, but there's not a lot of people who have patience nowadays. Everything's instant, you know what I mean? Order off Amazon, you get it the next day, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Social media, you can find everything instantly, but it takes time, and it's just a case of like doing what works, but doing that over an extended period of time that yields results. So quite a low rep set there, and something to make sure you're doing is making sure the control reflects whatever rep range you're working in. If you're doing a really high rep set, the same element of control's lower. Just because the load's less, the ability to stay accurate will therefore be higher without having as much control. Whereas when you're doing a low rep set, it's harder to stay accurate, injury risk is higher, so generally you want to make sure your control is even better. So when you're kind of taking a big load progression, don't speed up your execution, arguably slow it down, so you can remain accurate and remain safe. So next up, we've got a dumbbell hammer curl that will target a different part of your bicep, your brachialis and brachioradialis, which is part of your forearm, and also a cable rear delt fly, which I'm using this chest support basically for both, just because it helps me keep my torso static, make me more stable. You could argue it's overcomplicating it, but like, it makes sense having a good bit of attention to detail if my arms are weak. If my arms were massive, then fair enough, just kind of move weight, just curl, but it's not. So sometimes you then need to kind of look to what you could say, quote unquote, optimize things further, which is where creating more stability comes in, using techniques like this. So yeah, and what I basically do here is I'll just basically superset them. Reason being is it just saves me time and allows me to kind of keep the focus and flow throughout my session, because doing a set of hammer curls and chilling for a bit and doing it again, you like, especially at the end, you're tired, your focus dwindles, whereas it keeps me switched on, it keeps me focused without taking away from the quality of the work, and also saves me time. So a few wee tips when you're training your rear delts is go from a slightly high to low path, as it basically lines you up better to use your rear delt fibres. Also when you're doing it, what I think about is protracting my shoulder, bringing it forward, then just thinking out and down slightly. Because the roll of the rear delt is this, to basically abduct your upper arm, whereas the upper back roll is to move the shoulder joint kind of back or retract the shoulder. So I like to stay protracted, make it scrape my hands forward and out, so I have minimal movement in the shoulder blade, and I'm just kind of moving that upper arm. So give that a try, and again, control your change of direction. Stop kind of rushing the movement. If you're moving extremely fast, your ability to stay accurate and stay on the muscle will be lower. So that is pull boxed off productive session as a whole. Pretty happy with how everything went. No movements really went poor. Some progressions a wee bit harder to come by, which is just a byproduct of not doing them the week before, as like I touched on, I believe at the start. I've just been on holiday to Tenerife, so that's just basically reinforces the importance of improving, or sorry, keep doing the same movement patterns, so you're able to kind of progress your lifts in an efficient manner. So yeah, good session as a whole. If you enjoyed the video, any support's massively appreciated. If that's a comment, like, or a subscribe, again, greatly appreciated. And if there's any specific content you'd like to see, please feel free to let me know and I'll happily take that on board.